Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. All right, Core Discord, David Immendorf, glad to have you on the show. That is Libertine, I think, correct, Jack?
Yes, it is.
That's like what we did live with the band down in Pennsylvania with Mom and Papa's house. David,
that's his smash hit.
That was. I think he did a good job. The only problem with that one, I think it's about his ex-wife. So he's remarried with children now, and I know he just moved into his new house, too. So, again, Core Discord, it's on Spotify. His name is David Immendorf. Really appreciate stealing his music. Not really stealing it. We're borrowing it. We're giving him some airtime. And I do know last week we had a couple instances where we talked about there was a big game, I think, over the weekend, not including the we'll talk about the Wilmington High School versus Winchester game, which brought Jack a lot of fun stuff. But how about Liverpool versus Man United at Anfield, right?
Yeah,
all right,
so
Jack, give me a
at Anfield where Liverpool plays again. Like if you listen to the podcast last week, we lost there 7-0. We lost at Anfield 7-0 last year. This year, people expect it to be just as bad. We're coming in horrible form. Liverpool in good form. We can't stop anybody. Liverpool keeps scoring goals. So everybody was going into this game, including myself, being like, if Liverpool don't win by 3 goals, it's a win. It ended up being a 0-0 draw. We ended up getting a 0-0 draw about it. And then you get the same Liverpool fans who spend all week, not even all week, all month, all year waiting for this game going, it's going to be 7 goals again. It's going to be 8 this year. We're going to kill you. And then they get mad at us for celebrating the draw. And I got just a clip here from Roy Keane, who, if you guys
Ted Lasso.
If you guys watch Ted Lasso, the guy Roy Kent is basically loosely based off him. He played for Manchester United. He gave Virgil van Dijk, who's Liverpool's captain, really some arrogant comments about how only one team was playing to win. But this is what Roy Keane had to say.
All right, let's hear Roy Keane. Go, Jack.
We heard Van Dijk speaking there. Obviously, a lot of arrogance coming out of him, dishing United like that. He needs a reminder himself. He's playing for a club who's won one title in 30-odd years. He's saying only one team wanted to win. Man United buzzing with the point. Man United are in a difficult place. Like Liverpool have been in a difficult place for many a year. So maybe that bit of arrogance backfired on him today.
I don't know if it was arrogance personally.
That's arrogance. That's arrogance.
I just think
he said Man United were buzzing. Only one team came to play. Yeah. Listen, I've come to many times here when I was at United, when Liverpool in a tough place, and they were happy with a draw. Yeah, United will take them up. But
I think
to dish them like that, saying, oh, they're buzzing, only one team wanted to win. United had 1 or 2 chances. United are up against it. And sometimes players need a reminder when they're playing for clubs like Liverpool, and everyone's saying Man United are this and that. Yeah, United are in a bad place, but for many a year, Man United were in a good place. And you wouldn't be disrespecting clubs like he is.
This is Liverpool for you. They get offended. Their players get offended when you don't play like a way where they can kill you. And they get Klopp even said, he's like, the most arrogant thing ever actually was said by Klopp, who they, in the past 2 years, they beat us 4-0. They beat us 5-0, and they beat us 7-0. You know what he said after the 0-0? I can't remember a time where we dominated them this much. No, you didn't. You barely created any good chances. You had a ton of corners and blah, blah, blah. Roy Keane, though, he will give it to Manchester United. When we played Man City this year, lost 3-0, he gave it to the players. But he'll also give them some credit.
Did he give him some credit? He played for Man United?
So he played for Man United in the 90s and 2000s, won like 7 or 8 titles, and he makes the point where when I was playing, Liverpool were in a great spot. There were times where we came here, Liverpool were happy with the draw. So just be humble, and Liverpool won't win the league, but it just annoyed me the way that they were like, ooh, they're celebrating a draw. Yeah, no duh, we're celebrating a draw. We thought we were going to get killed.
Where's Roy Keane from?
He's Ireland. He's Irish,
yeah, you can tell by the brogue accent that he's got. But
it's from Cork.
I got a question on that arrogance. Is it arrogance of their fans or what? And
their fans are arrogant. I think they would even admit it going in. Like the atmosphere, Anfield's known for the atmosphere. Even the atmosphere was down a little bit because I think it was such a foregone conclusion. It ended up backfiring. I know Chris Greco, who has been on this podcast, helps coach the Wilmington basketball team, who doesn't like me. But he even said before the game, he's like, I'm starting to think like there's so much talk about how bad and ugly this is going to be for Man United. Like I'm starting to get worried about this game from Liverpool's perspective. And he ended up being right.
So we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago about a 0-0 tie. There were only like 3. And then that game comes 0-0 tie. Is that considered a win for Man U? Is it there's no such thing as a moral victory, but a tie is a tie. And was it something that was not expected? How about I put it that way?
Look, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't help us that much. Like that point, it could. You know what? At the end of the year, it could help us, but like it's just the fact that what happened. Like you got to understand what happened last year, the 7-0, and the fact that it looked like it. The way we've been playing, it looked like, hey, it could maybe get ugly again. So that's why it's a win. I mean, the fact that we just didn't get killed. It's honestly that's the spot that Man United are in. We're not in a good spot, but that's where we are right now. We have to be happy that we did not get killed by Liverpool. That's where we are. That's it.
So take your Man U hat off and give me a good 2-second description. Was it a boring game or not?
Well,
if I was watching it, what would I said?
You'd have probably said it was kind of poor quality, but I don't know how boring it was. It wasn't the worst. Like, the quality wasn't good, but I still think there were moments in the game where it wasn't just like a total dull game. But no, it wasn't a great game. No, I won't say it was a great game. The quality of the game wasn't great, no.
No quality of game. That's good to hear. So it's almost like the NFL. It gives us good transition to go to the NFL. Finally on, where's Man U going to end up? They're going to make Champions League next year or what?
Probably not. We hurt ourselves by not qualifying. This is the year they're given two leagues, like a fifth spot in the Champions League, the top 2 leagues, and that's based off like how your teams do in Europe. And sadly, Man United and Newcastle, who are 2 of the 4 teams in the Champions League this year, didn't even advance to the knockout stage. So that's not looking good for us. I think
it's top 4, right? You had to make.
Look,
top 4?
It depends on what happens when we get healthy. It depends on I can't really say that, but when we really get like a couple of our key players back that help us play better football, build up from the back and all that. But I'm gonna say we're gonna finish in 5th.
Okay, good Premier League talk here to start. It all boils down to this on this week before Christmas. We're coming here live, not live because we're on tape, but we'll hear I think it's December 20th today. So as of December 20th, Jack, I want to look at the NFL. It was really a weird weekend this weekend. Some of the teams that we expected to be good were bad. Some of the teams we expect to be bad were good. Let's just let's go over the top. Who do you think the top 3 teams in each conference are? Which of those teams really has a realistic chance to win the Super Bowl?
I guess you're still gonna say the Eagles. The Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers, and then I'll go Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs.
So you like the Bills after the 2 performances they put up recently, especially the ass whooping they gave.
Well, the Bills, their quarterback's hot. Their quarterback's hot. They're going to win games. I mean, that's.
But they're going to have to go on the road, right? And you like the Chiefs, and did you say the Ravens?
Yeah.
And no Dolphins. You got the Bills over the Dolphins?
Yeah. I trust the Bills more than I trust the Dolphins. Wise. I just think the quarterback has more upside on the Bills than Tua does. That's basically it. Like if Josh Allen plays to his abilities, they can win the Super Bowl. I don't think Miami has a way of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. If they can score you to death, if they keep healthy, I think they can.
Yeah, but that's
the Bills. If the Bills play the way they did last week. And he doesn't make mistakes, Josh Allen. You're absolutely right. I think they could win this. That's a team that can win the Super Bowl. They're still a little bit lax defensively, and I think the teams that have the better defenses are structurally will be the teams that can win. Like that's the problem with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is hurt, and he's not playing that well. So they were 10-1. Now they're 10-4. Lost 3 straight games. The Niners are playing really well, but they're an injury away from one of their superstars. And I hear all the Brock Purdy for MVP talk. And if Patrick Mahomes can get somebody to catch a football, I think the Chiefs are dangerous. But I would say that right now I look at the Ravens have won the games they have to win. Quarterback's staying healthy. He's not running as much. Ravens and Niners probably right now going in if I had to pick between those teams. So I'm going to put that as right before Christmas, who's playing well, who's not. How about your Super Bowl?
My Super Bowl, dude, I don't change my. You love to change every.
So you have
week.
the Browns and the who?
No, I said the Cowboys and the Chiefs, and I don't love the way that looks specifically with the Chiefs.
Okay,
that Cowboys Bills game, that was a scheduled loss for the Cowboys. I'm not going to look too much into that. Just bounce back next week. Like they were so hot going to Buffalo there. Like they were obviously going to lose that game.
What 2 teams that are playing right now? I don't care. I will stick with your picks at the beginning of the year because I have the Eagles and the Bills. I think I have.
Yeah.
What 2 teams? Boy, that's looking good. What 2 teams right now do you think have the best chance of winning the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Okay, so
Dude, I'm not. I'm just not
Okay,
going to say
I'll
anything
take it.
different.
I'll give
the,
it- I'll
the
let you
best
egg.
because like I really don't love the Niners. I just don't love Brock Purdy, and I don't know. At the end of the day, I have some sort of feeling that it's going to click for the Chiefs. I don't know. The defense has kind of gotten scoring a little bit recently, but at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, I think Patrick Mahomes will come through. I think they'll figure something out. Like, how about last year? Tony had a great Super Bowl, had a great playoff run.
Right.
He's the worst football player I have ever seen. I mean, he did it again
actually,
last
not
week.
the worst, but he's pretty bad.
Name one worse.
Anybody
Matt
who has
Jones,
been cut
not even
after
close.
2 years.
No.
After
Tony
it's
should have been cut after 2 years.
Well, Tony's screwed him up on that mess. So you're going to look at it, and I think you're absolutely right. Defenses and quarterbacks, right? That's what we're going to look at. Is the defense more important than the quarterback? Is the quarterback more important than the defense?
Quarterbacks, I don't care about defense at the
You
end of the
don't
day. Like, look at the Super Bowl last year. It was like 35-35. Like, there's no
Okay.
defense was played. It was the offense. The offense in this NFL, your offense is going to win you games.
Okay, so if Hurts gets healthier, and they could have sat him if they won a couple games, they could be dangerous too. But their defense.
The Eagles are always going to be dangerous because of that play they have to get first down.
The tush push.
They
Or
can
the
always
Philly,
if they can
whatever.
get you to 3rd and 3, they can tush push you twice. Even if they can get you 3rd and 4, and that's a weapon. Like they would have won the Super Bowl last year. People forget this. They had a tush push where the dude went off sides.
Yeah.
On a 3rd and 1, they ended up punting, but they would have won the Super Bowl. Also, Hurts did fumble, but like they would have won the Super Bowl. The tush push is it's a play that it makes the Eagles dangerous.
Yeah,
in
and I
any
think it's
situation.
the other play that's really changed the way football is they don't blow the whistle and you get forward progress like for 5 seconds afterwards. I think there was a play in the Bills game where one of the running backs picked up Bills Cowboys picked up like an extra 12 yards because they picked him up and pushed him. Because I saw Deion Dawkins coming in from the backside. I think that rule's gonna have to change. It just doesn't make sense. You get hit, you're stopped, you're done. Don't keep pushing from behind. And I think that's what they're gonna change as well. The NFL will look at that rule. That'll be changed because it just is. What's going to happen is they're going to find a tight end who's a little bit stronger and quicker, and they're going to put a 6'5" tight end under center. They're just going to get all their people behind him and in front of him and just drill it through the hole. So that'll change. But again, let's NFL, a lot of backup quarterbacks, very mediocre. People love it for some unknown reason. But, they're going to compete over the next 2 weeks with the college bowls, which isn't much. But they are going to compete next week. It'll be about a weekend away, right? Next weekend, not this weekend, for the college football playoff. I want to go over some of those. The Michigan line has changed more back towards Alabama, which is really surprising.
I thought it hadn't moved at all.
I think not maybe the line, but the experts' opinions think Alabama right now. And
Well, I always thought the experts thought Alabama was going to win that game,
And
and
you
that's
know
why
why
I said
they
when I
think
made
that?
that pick 3 weeks ago,
You know
3
why?
weeks ago, I said that line was going to move from 1.5 Michigan being favored by 1.5. It's still 1.5 Michigan, so I don't. That's weird.
I still like the only thing I read today was that they think about Michigan. If the longer you get in the season, more film on them because they can run the football. People have adapted to that and make McCarthy beat you by the air. The problem with Alabama is their weakness. The weakness of their defense is their rush defense. If they can stop the run, Michigan has absolutely no shot. But in a duel of quarterbacks, I still like, and I hate to say this, it pains me, I still like Michigan to win that football game. I can't see Alabama putting together 4 straight great quarters against a really good defensive team.
They did against Georgia.
Yeah, they did against Georgia, but they're not going to do it against Michigan. So this
You don't need to put 4 great quarters together, though. You need one, really, in a
you
game
need
like
to stop
that.
them as well.
Yeah.
So I still think you're sitting in the Alabama fence. I agree, right?
Yeah, I've been sitting on the Alabama fence for a while now, ever since Kevin did Bama blows when they were playing Kentucky at halftime, like midway through the season. So I was right. Kevin was wrong. We do have a Kevin call to talk about the college
Okay, good.
football playoff.
Okay, why don't we get there?
Or do you want to anything else in the NFL?
No. I don't wanna
MVP.
talk-
Who's your MVP pick?
MVP? Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Who's your-
God.
And if they give it to Purdy,
It's
I'm
hard
not
to say.
watching.
It's hard to say Prescott because it's just the
That's
whole
shit
thing with the
game.
NFL. It's so up. It's like you play 4 good weeks and everyone's like me. Everyone's saying, "Oh, wow, Dak Prescott's the greatest quarterback in the NFL." You have one game where you're not superb, and it's like, "Oh, he sucks again." I never trusted Dak ever. It's crazy. I actually like the fact that this happened because the Cowboys kind of sucked in that Bills game because now everyone gets to jump off the Cowboys bandwagon. It was getting a bit too crowded. I've been on it since the start. Now we get all these people off. Everyone, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world are back to the Cowboys. Oh, the fools. These fools think the Cowboys. Who thinks Dak Prescott can win? That's gone. With the bandwagons, me and Jay Trev, and we're gonna ride, and we're gonna see what happens. Probably lose to the 49ers.
Okay, so do you think Dak's going to win MVP?
Oh yeah, he
Okay.
should. Yeah, he's had a great year.
I think this is one of the years you could get a defensive player winning it. A Miles Garrett, the kid. I also blew his name. The guy.
Miles Garrett's not a terrible
Micah
shout,
Parsons,
but
Micah
I wouldn't
Parsons.
give it to Parsons over Prescott.
Yeah.
Like-
I don't think if it's Purdy, I'm going to be pissed because I think Debo and McCaffrey are much better than Purdy and
Nick,
Everybody else.
T.J. Watt,
another one. But
because the Steelers suck and they've won games somehow. They suck. They're
Well,
worse
they've-
than the Patriots. They are. I think they're worse than the
they've
Patriots.
lost the Patriots. They really have sucked the last 2 weeks though. So you say we got a Kevin call?
Yeah, you want me to pull it up?
He who shall not be named Kevin.
He's finishing up
Is-
college football for us. He's had a big year.
This will be the playoffs, and we've talked about Alabama, Michigan a little bit. We'll have Alabama, Michigan. We'll have Texas and Washington to talk to after we hear from Kevin O'Donnell. Oh,
He's
Kevin.
got bowl locks. He's got everything.
Oh God, no bowl locks. I just want to hear the.
No,
four.
we need locks because I get my locks.
Oh,
off.
locks. Okay, I have Army. Go, Kevin.
Well, that's a good lock.
That's a great lock.
All right, Jack and Jim, here for the final podcast of the year, unless you're doing something in between Christmas and New Year's. But going to get straight into the playoff preview. So Alabama, Michigan, and then Washington, Texas. I got Alabama beating Michigan. I'm just still not convinced by Michigan. They've played 1.5 games this year, obviously beat Ohio State and, Penn State, who, just doesn't have a quarterback. But meanwhile, Bama has just shown continuous improvement throughout this whole season and has built up an impressive resume, beating teams like obviously Georgia, but Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee, and then even some lower level teams like A&M, Kentucky, the Iron Bowl, which was an ugly win and a lucky win, honestly, but, and yeah, Milroe has been getting better each and every week. Like I said before, he's my Heisman pick next year. Everybody's hopping on that bandwagon now, but I was the first person to say it. And crazy enough, I trust him more than J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be apparently like a top 15 pick in the draft, which is just insane. For Washington, Texas, I got Washington beating Texas. I'm shocked that the line is at
Before we get to the next game,
Yeah.
Bama. So he said he trusts Milroe more than McCarthy. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I will say the thing about McCarthy, I thought did play good in that Ohio State game against Ohio State. I thought he played good. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I could see you saying I trust Milroe more than I trust McCarthy.
I disagree on that because I think the quarterback makes a mistake is the quarterback that's going to lose, and I think Harbaugh will not allow McCarthy to make a mistake. That's the way they played all year. I
they
think
haven't-
that
they haven't
Milroe makes mistakes up and down the field all year, and they have been continually improving. They should have lost to Auburn, who's a sub 500 team.
No, they haven't
They
continually
should have
improving.
lost. They have not.
They
improved.
lost at home by 10
They
points
should-
to Texas.
They should have lost to Auburn. They're not continually improving, Kevin.
They are.
They're not. Go.
They are.
All right,
they
let's
are.
go to Washington. I'll give you my picks
or,
after this.
since beating Alabama, Texas has really done nothing. They lost to Oklahoma in the Red River. They beat, Kansas State in overtime. They beat Kansas as well. Their Big 12 championship win against Oklahoma State. That they're not really a good team. Just very unconvinced by them. Meanwhile, Washington has played in a very highly contested Pac-12. Have won games ugly. They haven't been getting a lot of style points, but they've made the plays when it matters. And, just overall justice for Michael Penix. He's my Heisman, and he definitely should have won it. I can't believe Jaden Daniels won it, but, he was the popular pick. He was the cool pick.
No. So the Heisman thing's simple. Just real quick. The Heisman. Jaden Daniels was the Heisman winner, which he was the most outstanding player in college football, right? He was. Now, Michael Penix, you can say, is the MVP. But he was not the most outstanding. The Heisman's not, I don't think it's the MVP, right?
No,
the
it's the most
criteria is the most
outstanding
outstanding
player.
player.
Yes.
And Daniels was the most outstanding player. He deserved the Heisman.
Okay, I agree with you.
And yeah, to get to, the championship game, hypothetically, I got Bama beating Washington in a close one.
Yeah.
I
want
can't believe
Bama,
I'm
Texas.
saying this, since I thought, at halftime of the Tennessee game, I thought Bama was
was
dead
Tennessee,
in the
not
water. Kentucky. But yeah, credit to Tommy Rees, credit to Nick Saban, credit to Milroe. I mean, those three guys have really changed the fortunes of the season. It's been pretty incredible. But on to my locks.
Okay, wait, locks from-
Jack is going to have Bama. So I'm not going to pick it. I'm going to do the other game. I'm going to do Washington +4 against Texas. Like I said before, I just think Washington is honestly the better team. And I think that they're going to beat them. And don't be surprised if it's by 10+. And then for two other locks, I got bowl locks. I'm just going to stick and ride with the guys who have gotten me here to this point. and those guys are Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart, Brady Cook, Cody Schrader. So I got Ole Miss +4 against Penn State and the Mac Jones of college football, Drew Aller. And just want to give a quick shout out to Lane Kiffin for his contract extension at Ole Miss, taking him to, I believe, 2028. I think hopefully he's found a long-term home there, which is great. And then I also have Mizzou.
That Penn State, our big Penn State Ole Miss
That'd
game,
be awesome.
the Ole Miss is the Penn State of the SEC. The problem is I think Penn State did have a lot of like opt-outs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's what you get with all these bowl games.
I want to know when that game is, and we got to get Kevin to the house.
Kevin O'Donnell might.
Kevin to the house.
Kevin O'Donnell might.
Kevin to the house.
Okay. Kevin O'Donnell might be what?
Nothing. He should not be named.
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
I'm very confused.
You're not supposed to say his last name on our TV.
Did I say his last name?
3 times.
Did I really?
Yes, 3 times.
Well, we'll have to,
Kevin, who don't know your last name.
we need a bleep button or whatever. I forgot where it was. Oh, Kevin. Yeah, Jesus. I didn't know what you were doing. Kevin did. Jesus, now I'm lost. So Kevin might be the only person that isn't like an Ole Miss alum / fan that is a Lane Kiffin
he
fan.
might be, yeah.
It's got to be the only person on the planet.
Probably is.
Like he loves Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart, all these guys.
We
He
got to
loves
find
Ole
out
Miss.
when that game is and invite everyone over.
Look it up right now while he finishes his call.
Okay, go. Finish the call, Kev.
-1 against Ohio State. Ohio State is, I mean, it's just a corpse. Like
So Missouri by
they
1
have nothing
against
left
Ohio
to play
State.
for.
That's
They're
what he just said.
just dead. They're just a dead team. And Ryan Day is probably mad at Lou Holtz somewhere. And Mizzou is eager to cap off really an excellent season. And, I think, if this was a year later from now and this was, a 12-team playoff, Mizzou could have definitely been, in the semifinals or in the finals. I think they're that good. I think they're an excellent team. And just on to other stuff, just wanted to give a quick note about, just Xavier in general. I visited the university this past week.
I listened to this. I'll let him get his minute on Xavier.
Can't listen to
No,
Xavier.
this is hilarious. He talks about the president.
Do we want to do Xavier now?
What do you mean?
Okay, we wait.
Well,
till
we're
the-
done. We have nothing more. Well, you know what? Before I give this Xavier, we'll finish this. I got to do my locks. So Kevin's locks, he had the 2 locks. Actually, didn't he pick 3?
He had 3 locks.
Yeah, well, he was
He had
supposed to pick 2.
Bama. He had Bama. He had Ole
No, he
Miss.
did not have Bama. He had
Washington.
Washington plus 4. He had Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, and then he had Mizzou.
And he had Mizzou. I told him to only pick 2, so we're gonna have to. I should call him right now, but no.
doesn't matter.
We're gonna
It
have
doesn't
to.
matter.
We're gonna have to have him kill one of those because I have 3. So we're trying to get even on the locks of the years.
All right, so
I
who's
think
your
he's 6-2. I'm 4-3. So my locks, I'm gonna do Bama plus 1.5. I'm going to do Arizona by 3 against Oklahoma. Gabriel's not playing. Gabriel is
Arizona's
going to
good football
Oregon,
team.
so I really think I like Arizona in that game. That's going to be a real good game, though.
Yeah.
I don't know who's playing quarterback for Oklahoma. That's the thing. That's the thing with this bowl game. Like, their star quarterback's going to Oregon.
Right.
And then I'm also, like Kevin said, this is my Ole Miss this year. Clemson -4 versus Kentucky.
There you go.
They have. I'm like 4-0 with Clemson locks this year. They got me back into this. It's been great. It's been great. I love Clemson. That's my
Okay,
new
so
team.
those are your
Next year,
locks.
we're pumped for next year. And then we also have to talk about before we do stupid Xavier, Dylan Raiola
Oh yeah, transfer.
committing to Nebraska. Matt Rule. I mean, they're saying it's not. They're saying it's actually like the biggest commitment in the history of Nebraska. Just like Otani's the biggest signing in the history of the Dodgers.
Oh, we'll talk about it later, but I'll tell you something. Just like Jackie Robinson don't count. We'll do
Well,
about baseball.
Missoula, first black coach in the history of the Celtics.
But but with Raiola, his father was a superstar player at Nebraska. His uncle is the offensive line coach at Nebraska. What is the shock there that Matt Rule pulled him in? I mean, the family has a lot of that draw. That history draw has a lot. If he doesn't play in the first year, or he sucks in the first year, he's going to transfer anyway back to Georgia. So it really doesn't matter. You're okay.
The message boards were funny. The Georgia fans were all salty. Their reasoning for him, it wasn't his uncle and his father. It was he probably likes girthy farm girls, and
Oh
that's
my
why he
God,
went to
those Georgia
Nebraska.
people.
That was a comment.
Oh Lord, save us, Georgia. Okay, so you got your locks. You got 3. Kevin's got 3. You have 2.
I have 3. Kevin has 3. He has
So Kevin's got to drop once you're even.
yeah.
All right, so
Well, I could figure out another one
gonna,
I want to.
let's go the final 4. You're taking Bama.
I'm gonna go Bama
And who?
I really don't think Texas is good. I don't think they should have made it. But I don't want to have the exact same picks as Kevin, so I'll go Texas and then I'll take Bama.
Okay, and I'm going to go Michigan, Texas to the final. I'm going to go that Washington, Texas game. I'm going to go probably the over there on my lock. I haven't seen the over-under there.
Your lock's the over, and you don't even know what it is.
I don't care. Who cares? It's gambling, for Christ's sakes. I'm not putting any money on it. And then I like, I'm telling you right now, that Texas is going to win the national championship.
Yeah,
over Michigan.
That's a take, honestly.
That's a take. And then Kevin goes, well, they haven't really played anybody.
I agree.
Well, Nebraska, Alabama, they can't even beat Auburn, for Christ's sakes.
They did.
They did, but they can't. And I'm just sick of Alabama. Done. Okay, so I'll go Michigan, Texas in the final. You've got Alabama, Texas. Kevin's got Alabama, Washington. Nobody's like Washington. So that's our college football takes. And he's got a Xavier take for us. God Almighty, poor.
He was there this weekend.
Oh, he went to Xavier this weekend. Okay, let me listen. I'll keep me on the camera while I listen. I'll just make faces at him. How long?
Last weekend, went to see the basketball team play Winthrop as they get ready for Big East play this week. And
Powerhouse Winthrop.
Wanted to give another shout out on this little voice note, to President Colleen Hanich for visiting myself and just a large group of people that were at the game and in Cincinnati for the weekend for a very important.
Kevin working his nice job now. The president's coming after him for his money.
Money,
probably.
Kevin. All she's beating with you is for money. I'm telling you right now. They're glad to look at money.
She's a class act and represents the school tremendously. And I'm really glad that the university is in safe hands with her moving forward. She took over for the legendary Father Graham when I was getting into my senior year, and things continue to be looking up for the school. The med school is going to be built and ready for 2027, I believe. Show. They're receiving record-breaking gifts and donations happening right now. And most importantly, we beat Cincinnati in the crosstown shootout a couple weeks ago, which was awesome because Cincinnati is, so far had an excellent season, and we've sucked, and they still can't beat us, which is great. So want to wish Sean Miller and the team the best of luck, as they start off Big East play against Rick Pitino and St. John's tonight, at least when you're doing this podcast tonight on Wednesday. My hope is that we go, maybe a couple games over 500, go like 12-8 or 13-7 in conference play, and maybe we can get like the last bubble spot in the tournament. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Dayton playing
and then, just another thing I need to note is I cannot wait to see Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield this weekend. So, all right.
So we were at Anfield last weekend. Kevin's going to Anfield this weekend. They got a good chance of winning that game, though. But he's talking about Xavier. The fact that you can say in one sentence, you can say the names Sean Miller and Rick Pitino and not make a comment about that. Yeah, it's like what?
I agree with
those two guys
the
together.
Two cheaters of all cheaters cheating. We haven't. I have no college basketball on my list here. I just want to make note that
Kevin was giving his recruiting pitch for applying to Xavier.
He was, yeah. So if you want to apply to Xavier is in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know. It's a kind of Catholic school. Probably have to take religion classes. I don't know what side of the Israel-Hamas piece that Hamas they sit on, but if you get in front of the Congress and you're from Harvard, MIT, or Penn, I would warn you not to talk. So in college basketball, the only big thing
you have to talk if you're in front of Congress.
The only big thing I think happened was the.
You can plead the fifth. I have to say this real quick.
Okay.
Jay Trev last night, talking about John Morant, said something about as long as he just doesn't keep violating the Fourth Amendment. Jay Trev's the only person on the planet. I love Jay Trev's brand and I love the world Jay Trev lives in. He's the only person on the planet who doesn't know what the Second Amendment is and isn't all this controversy with the Second Amendment. And Jay Trev's just out there and just watching football. It's great. That was awesome. It was like Trump Tower in a text. If you heard that story about Jay Trev and Trump Tower, the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure.
It's
awesome that
because
he
they
said
search
that.
and seize his house for his guns that he was floating around in public, probably. Just wanted to bring up that I'm a big Arizona guy because my niece goes there, your cousin, and I saw them play, and I think they're a really good basketball team. But Iowa sort of figured out a little bit.
Purdue or Iowa?
Purdue. I keep saying them Iowa because that girl's always, Caitlin Clark is always in my brain because that's why I get Iowa. But Purdue with Zach Edney, and my brother told me because he watched the game, they hit a ton of threes. If their guards hit threes, they're going to win games. Everybody's going to be like that. Celtics last night. If they hit threes, they win. If they shoot miserable three, they lose. But Purdue is probably, I think, back to number one. Beat Arizona. College basketball is just a mix of all sorts of teams that can win or lose. There's probably still only about 6 or 7 teams that can win the national championship. As far as Xavier's concerned, the Big East is criminally overrated this year.
Big East won the national title last year.
The only thing they have is they have the old AAC guy, Connecticut. They don't bring the AAC team and the American team, and they don't win shit.
technically, though, it's more of an old Big East team.
It's an old Big East team, but
team.
they were recruiting all their players in the American, and now they chopped out.
Well, they did. UConn did win a championship of the American when they were recruiting all their players in the Big East.
Probably true. No, they won a championship of the American when they had all their Big East players. Right?
Yes, correct.
Kevin
yeah.
Ollie, he cheated everywhere though.
Kevin Ollie, I think that was like his first year. He's a horrible coach.
He was. Just real quick before we finish NCAA. It was Coach Kelly from UCLA, who came up with really a good solution to their issues, where you just completely separate out the G5s and the P5s just in football. And you split those out into their own worlds, and then therefore their other sports don't have to travel like Stanford to Duke for a basketball game or for a track meet. I think it's somewhere where I think we're going to actually eventually get to. There are a lot of issues with money and television and the Congress and everything else, but eventually I think we're going to see a split of football be its own entity, and the NCAA, every other sport will live under the NCAA. NCAA will make their money on the college basketball, which they can distribute to other teams, and football will make their money on football, of course. But I thought that was a really interesting take by Chip Kelly out there at UCLA. I saw that interview from him. That's it for college hoop for me. Now, we had a big argument at home, probably was the last Thursday night. The Celtics were playing somebody, and we argued about baseball like for 20 minutes, and it was the Red Sox. So, Jack, give me your. Do you have any audio on the Red Sox? No.
No, they're not even.
Happened.
They're not even worth my time talking about. They're
they
a
are.
waste.
You
they're
bitch
a waste.
about it.
No,
You
they're a
bitch about
waste.
me.
Yeah, that's what I'm bitching about. They're a waste of time. They're literally a waste of time.
Why?
It's not worth my time. They're going to do nothing. They're going to sign a bunch of garbage. They're not going to make any trades. Brian Bell is going to start opening day. The second pitcher is going to be Chris Sale.
Actually, Chris Sale starting opening day has all been announced.
Yeah, okay.
Did you listen to Alex?
If you think Chris Sale's going to be healthy on opening day, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But they're
much?
not worth talking about. We suck. We're horrible. We're
So
done.
you're
We're
under the
a
belief.
second-rate team. We're a second-rate team. We're not the Red Sox.
You're under the belief.
And you're going, ooh, we didn't
You're
win a
under the
chip.
belief.
don't
I
care.
said this, and I will repeat this again and again and again. You don't win in December, right?
Yeah, you kind of do.
Only two players that the Red Sox probably should have gone hard after got signed.
Kurt Schilling.
Soto. So Kirk was
Josh Beckett, when was that trade done?
The trade was done when Theo was hiding. It was January.
In January. So they didn't win in December that year. They won in January.
Right. No, they didn't win
They
in
won
January.
2007 in January when they got Beckett. You do win in the offseason. That's a terrible quote.
But who's left to be signed? So let me ask you this. If Yamamoto signs with the Red Sox, I don't think he's going to sign with here. But if he signs with the Red Sox, does that change your opinion?
Of course.
Of course. So you're a hypocrite.
You can't. What do you mean I'm a hypocrite? How does that make me a hypocrite?
They're not going to do anything. They do something. Oh, they did something.
Yeah, that's
just questioning. I love this argument.
It's called proving me wrong.
This is an argument nobody can win.
That is the least hypocritical thing ever. Being hypocritical would be me saying that. Being hypocritical would be me saying that they still are a waste of time after they sign Yamamoto. That would be hypocritical.
Okay, so they're a waste of time now.
Yeah, and
but
they're
on January
going,
1st, they might not be.
No, they're not signing Yamamoto.
I don't think they're going to sign Yamamoto either.
Yeah, no, they're going to be a waste of time on January 1st.
What would be a successful offseason if let's say they offered Yamamoto a certain amount? But what,
I would have taken Glass now.
Okay,
oh, wait,
I have already told you about Glass now. I'm going to tell a podcast about Glass now. He was never, ever, ever, ever going to be traded by Tampa to the Red Sox. We could have offered them Kurt Schilling, and they wouldn't have taken him.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
No, Tampa was never traded within the division.
No, that's not true.
Never.
That's just not true.
And Margot, who we once had, do you remember who Margot was traded for?
Yeah, Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah, there you go. Craig Kimbrell signed with Baltimore. We should have signed him too, for Christ's sakes. Because now all these teams are signing him.
Look, this is all I'm going to say is they suck. They're a waste of my time. I'm not losing sleep with them. I have bigger fish to fry, like the frickin' Wilmington High School basketball team.
Yeah, we'll come up on that in a second. Talk about Jack's local personality, Mr. Jack Boyle.
Yeah,
getting trash on. We're going to go over that too. But in baseball, I just want to harken back to Ben Verlander's tweet.
Yeah.
About signing Yamamoto was the biggest signing the Dodgers have ever done.
I don't know if it was biggest. It might have. He actually. He actually worded it worse than biggest. He said most important.
Most important signing the Dodgers ever. You know, why are people so stupid? That is my take on this. Is Ben Verlander? I know your brother is probably what's his name, Justin Verlander, but you're an idiot. You know. Now I read Keith Law made a point. He's just trying to get people to click him. It's just a ridiculous
that went mega
thing.
viral. Yeah,
if he wanted to go viral, he did.
No, you know what
he
though?
He did, and
I'm not
stupid.
gonna. You know what? I don't think he's that smart. I don't think he's smart enough to know, ooh, this is going to be like crazy. I think he just totally didn't even think, and he just said it. Because he's the biggest
Yeah, you're right
Ohtani.
there.
He loves Ohtani. All he does, Ohtani. I don't think he even thought, I don't think he did that on purpose.
So
Just like Jay Williams. Jay Williams didn't do that
that's
on
another
purpose.
one. Let's forget about that one.
Yeah.
And Celtics have had 3 black coaches. before
Three,
that.
more than three.
No, it's more than 3. One.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, no, because Satch coached, Casey coached, ML Carr coached, Bill Russell coached. That's 4.
Doc.
Doc coaches 5. Wow.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
you're
Joe
right,
Mazzulla
you're
was not the first one. He was the
right. No,
sixth.
Udoka, not Mazzulla.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Mazzulla's
No.
not black, is he? Mazzulla's white, kid.
What are you talking about?
Joe Mazzulla, he's white.
I don't know about that. But, yeah, it might have been Ime.
Ime was African American. And the Celtics have been on the forefront of
We'll have to
that
ask Rashard Mendenhall what he thinks about
Oh my
that.
God, that's another one. Everything happens at the end of the year for a reason, I think. But
Yeah.
back to Verlander, how can you be so stupid? And I think again, before we go to everything else that's happened, it's the generation and your generation. You asked me, can I give you a trivia question that happened in my time? Well, yes, but things, and I'm not accusing you of this, by the way, but I'm accusing other people. Things happened before, what you see today. And, you break the color barrier in professional sports. Is to me, the number one thing that happened in athletics in the 20th century was Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier.
I thought it was Babe Ruth calling his shot.
And that's number one. And that's still number one, even up till today. Ohtani already signed with the Angels, so he's already been in America. He's already brought that Japanese brand to America. And for him to have the audacity, even to say the Dodgers, the greatest Dodger signing was getting Mookie Betts for nothing and then signing him for nothing, that the Red Sox could have done. The best thing with him was sneaking Freddie Freeman away from Atlanta. Why is Ohtani the greatest signing coming off 2 Tommy Johns? Regardless of the fact that Jackie Robinson signed in 47 and broke the color barrier.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
who
hard.
cares?
My question to you is: social media is so corrupt. Everybody, all you want is and this. We'll come back to social media because you've been involved in social media this week with some things that happened at the high school level. But social media is just how do you filter it out? I could tweet anything out I want or X anything out I want.
It's not that big. It was funny. Come on, it was fun. When he does that, it's funny to laugh at him. When Rashad Mendenhall does that and everyone's faking hypothetical white-black rosters, it's funny. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? There's some serious stuff that happens on social media that probably should be taken more seriously, but who cares when he tweets about he's the most important signing in the history of the Dodgers?
I don't care. I just think it's arrogant, and it's like your boy there, who we talk about at the beginning of the show. It was arrogant of the Liverpool fans. It's arrogant of the writer. If you know better, you should know better. And again, you're not going to lose any credibility because people are going to forget about it in 2 weeks.
And you know what? It goes to the Dodgers too, just like Liverpool. 1 title in 30 years. 1. And it's not even real, your title. So
That's true. And
they both actually won in the same year, 2020.
You're up in arms and thinking that they're going to get Glasnow and Ohtani, and they're still going to lose in the first round.
Yeah, obviously. It's
because
the
they don't have
Dodgers.
enough pitching depth to win. So we bitch about the
Oh,
Red Sox.
no, they do have enough pitching depth to win, for sure. They have the best pitching staff in baseball now, for sure, if they can get healthy, yeah.
Oh, if they can get healthy.
Well, if Bueller comes back healthy, if Glasnow is healthy, if...
okay.
Well, really, just those 2 alone, I mean... And then a year down the road, if you can get Ohtani in those 3 pitchers, whew, watch out.
Okay.
All right, I'm done with
Okay,
baseball.
done with baseball.
The Red Sox are useless. Ben Verlander's an idiot. Those are the takeaways.
I'm gonna
the Yankees are having a really good
I'm going to
offseason.
continue to bring up baseball because at some point, the Red Sox are going to do something. You're going to be pissy or you're going to be happy. Simple as that.
Hal and Cashman do this every 5 years. We'll have a massive offseason once every 5 years. So now they bought themselves another 5 years of.
So they bought themselves a year, but they haven't won a pennant in how long? 2009?
Yeah, it's been a while, but
So the San Francisco Giants, who are also in the bidding for all these people, and that was the other thing about Ohtani. Didn't somebody write that he didn't go to San Francisco because it's so dangerous because of their homeless population? Did you read that too?
No, I saw that they were having issues with free agents with that, but
Free agents, not just Ohtani.
It doesn't make much sense. It's what are you more worried about? Are you worried about the homeless people in San Francisco? Or are you worried about the taxes? I think if you're a professional baseball player, the taxes are more of a detriment to signing with the Giants than freaking homeless. But what do they care? They're living in the rich areas of the place.
And in reality, the taxes.
Steph Curry's stopping people from building houses out there.
And
Ohtani can do that.
The taxes issue, I think, is the big issue with the deferrals for Ohtani as well, because you're in California, which is taxed the highest place. I think only other than maybe Hawaii, income tax highest.
So what's he gonna buy a condo in Miami or something to pay his taxes there?
When he starts to collect the $6 to $8 million, he'll establish residency in Texas.
What if he establishes residence? He's gonna live in Japan though, so I don't know.
I don't know how that's going to work.
We'll get into.
But he will not be living in California.
Paul Curtin around?
I'll have to call. I talked to him last week, but I'll have to call him. He will not be living in. He won't be living in California when he starts collecting $6 to $8 million. I can tell you that right now. So, and the other thing about the Ohtani before we go off baseball is, it's a smart deal for the player if he doesn't mind deferring the money. It's a smart deal for the Dodgers because they could care less to go $6 to $8 million in 25 years. But there are places in this game of baseball that finds like, how come the Dodgers are skirting the rules? How come Ohtani's changing the rules for himself? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. But again, baseball is going to go on hiatus now for probably 2 weeks, and we're just, like I said, we've talked about the NFL. And we've talked about the NCAA football championship, and we've talked about the MLB. We talked about soccer. We never talk about hockey here. I know nothing about hockey. I know the Bruins are losing a little bit. One of the things we've talked about over the last 2 weeks is the Wilmington High School basketball team. I had the privilege last night of covering I called the girls' game here on WCTV. The girls won 50-25. I see them maturing as a team. The kids that have been playing since they were freshmen are starting to play a lot better. They got great effort. Dylan Bresnan's sister, Shaylin, had a really good game, but was really tough underneath. So Arlington was a really strong
She tall,
team.
I'm assuming?
She's a big girl. Yeah, she's good. She gets mean. Like, if she could be mean like Dylan was mean on football.
I don't think Dylan was very mean.
But she had a great game, and all the girls did a good job, won by 25 points. It's good to see them mature as a team. The only problem with the high school girls team is that their numbers are sort of like kind of weak. So it'll be a tough issue for them. And then on to the boys who played their third game last night. Jack was quoted as saying something about 35-plus if they beat Winchester. They ended up losing to Winchester in overtime by 1. Jack worked that game. I want you to say some positive things about the team.
Well, here, quick. It's the same thing. I thought we were going to get killed at Anfield. We tied. I thought they were going to get killed. They tied. But you don't go on Instagram like celebrating it like they did and calling people out for it. No, they played really good. They looked really good. They should have won the game. Winchester had a kid who looked like Eric Nesline who just started draining threes in the second half. He was horrible in the first half. But yet, no, Wilmington played a really good game. They were better than I thought they were going to be, for sure.
And then the second game they played was last Friday. They beat Stoneham by 10. And last night they played at Arlington, which is a pretty good place to play, pretty good team. What did Chris say? They lost by 10?
By like 6, so it's another thing. Here's the question. It's like, they lost to Arlington by 6. They went to overtime with Winchester. Are they good, or did like the rest of the league have like the monsters from Space Jam come and take their powers away?
I think they're better than you give them credit for. I think one thing I told the Coach Amico, is they still need to learn how to win. I mean, if you're like, we got the Chris Greco, the assistant coach, gave us. They turned the ball over a little bit too much, missed a couple open threes, missed a couple open layups. Played hard though, and in reality, right now, the big teams, you want to see them play hard. I think my pick for the leading scorer, Thiago Gomez, was again the leading scorer.
No, he's a good player. He's number 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. He can handle the ball well. But yeah, 35 points. I said 35 points. If you lose by less than 20, it's a win. You know what? It was a win. But at the end of the day, they did still kind of choke a little bit of a lead. They should have won that game against Winchester. The reason I said 35, though, is I was a freshman. 2014 is when I entered Wilmington High School. I have all of the scores of the games against Winchester since I entered high school.
Oh, you have it written down?
They played them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 years off in the COVID, 7 times. So before the other night. So the scores in those 7 years. The first year we had Connor Bennett, who ended up playing D1 basketball. Pretty good player. Really good player. 1,000-point scorer. They lost 70-53. Respectable. The next year, maybe the worst, probably the second worst team in the history of Wilmington High School basketball. 71-41 they lost. Next year, 79-49. Next year, 92-55.
Which was their senior year?
That was my senior year, 92-55.
Wow.
Next year, 80-27.
Oh.
Next year, 76-48. And then they didn't play for 2 years. And then last year, 69-38. Comes out to a total of 537-311 for a total point margin, an average defeat of 32.3 points per game.
That's how you got 35?
So yeah, guys, 35 points was a fair estimate. You did a lot better than the history of Wilmington High School has done.
So I would say that this team he's got right now, John Amico, is competent against the big schools. And they're proving that they lost Arlington by a short number.
Well, it's like,
but
Arlington
again,
good though? Who's Winchester play? Like, is Winchester worse than normal?
No, because they beat somebody the other night too. It was
So
weird.
Wilmington's just good.
Wilmington's good. I think that they're good basketball. I think sometimes they're bigger than they get too big for their britches. And like I said, I think that
Well, they got
They gotta learn to close
a big
games.
local personality's calling them out.
yeah.
I calling them out. What does that mean? It's high school kids. I'm not calling anybody out.
Yeah.
You hear these scores? I thought you were going to lose by 35.
Right, but they did not.
They didn't, no.
And you were at the game, and you got to observe,
Yeah, I
And
got paid
you-
a lot of money to be there.
and you you played.
It's true.
That's true. And tomorrow night, we're going live on 7 o'clock. The Tech comes in. And one of the things that we talk about this, I'm looking at the Tech roster. They got like 8 kids from Wilmington on the Tech. The Tech varsity team is 8 Wilmington. There's more Wilmington kids playing varsity basketball than any other school. At
Again,
the
though,
Tech.
like if I guess I can't say anymore, but if you told me that the Tech has 8 Wilmington kids playing for them, I would have said good luck to the Tech. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, maybe
We,
there's.
we suck.
But again, maybe this group of boys, this 3-year section of boys basketball teams.
But
are
the
pretty
craziest
good.
thing about
not all
basketball-
8 play, but
I
they
know,
have
I know
8.
2 of them ended up going to private schools, but the craziest thing about my age basketball and how just it was for basically freshmen, even junior and senior year would have been really like the years where my class
Correct.
did basketball. They sucked those 2 years. The craziest thing about it is if you go back to 8th grade, they finished second in
Yes,
the
yeah.
whole entire like middle Merrimack Valley, right? Was
Right.
it Merrimack Valley?
Yeah,
The
they lost to
whole
Lowell in the
They
championship.
lost to Lowell. They beat Nashua. Like what happened to like how did they not win any games at high school?
Maybe they didn't get bigger. Maybe
I know.
They
Well, they
grow.
didn't. They also
But again, the
Mason
other-
Vega left that
Right.
but-
The other thing was with that, and Dennis Ingram was the coach who's now the AD. Also makes the point
Andrew Almeida
that-
stopped eating meat too.
that he had that he had a lot of good baseball players playing basketball. And if you think about that team, who was the one player, who was the one kid on that team who actually focused strictly on basketball? Who? Joey Ribeiro, Justin Trevisani,
Billy McAvoy.
Billy McAvoy. He was a golfer,
I don't know.
though.
Amatola maybe, but he's a football player
Yeah.
too. No, Amatola, Mason, but they
Mason.
weren't on those teams.
Right. So it's the way that works. And I would just say this: tomorrow's a big game. We're going to go on hiatus for a week because I'm going to have a family show. Amanda's coming in. We're going to do a Christmas show with her, without Jack, just Amanda and my dad. So we'll have 3 generations
Without the local person.
without the local personality, because I need to keep this as clean as possible. I give the kids credit. They're working hard. They love to bitch about everything. You're a good villain to have. I know that you appreciate the way they play. I know you appreciate some of the players. I know you think they can be better. I know why you. And like I said, last year I told Coach Miko he'd be lucky to win 3 games. He won 3 games. He got mad at me. This year I said you'd be lucky to win 8.5. So if you win 9 games,
Did the athletic director not warn him? What is the?
Oh,
I don't want
Dennis.
to say Ingram's record as a varsity coach because it's not his fault. But what was his record as a varsity
Right.
coach?
And
That's just how it's been in Wilmington. It's how it's been in this league.
And Dennis, to his credit, has said this is tough. It's a tough league. Like Wakefield's playing well. Watertown beats Burlington, and then Burlington goes out and wins last night with Seti Rodriguez scored 36 points. I mean, a high school kid scored 36 points.
Rodriguez.
A high school kid scored 36 against us last night. But you're right. It's a tough league. I would hope that they play well enough against all the teams they power rank to the playoffs. I still would say 8.5, 9.5. If they win 9 games, I'd be very, very happy and satisfied that they've had a good season. And then, like I said, I see them at school. I call the games, all the home games that we do, and I know their limitations. I just really believe that we've been in such a losing pattern for so long that sometimes the kids just don't know how to win. So they have the ability and they have the talent to win, but they just don't. It's just once that switch gets turned, they get that close game against Winchester, they win. They don't. They have a chance at Arlington and they don't throw the ball around. They should be blowing out teams like Stone, and they do. But it still has to be a learned environment. They got a great coach who's very well prepared, who's going to put them on the floor with a chance to win against tough teams, and then they have some semblance of talent. And it's just how that talent matures and matures and matures. And not to give any credence, but we have 6 more games, actually 7 games on WCTV coming up for the boys basketball team that will be broadcast from the Cushing Gymnasium at Wilmington High School. I will do 6 of the 7. I have to go to a baseball conference or one of them. But like Jack, I know that you don't mean any ill will to them, but you're looking at historical sites and you say, okay, they're going to play Lexington the week of New Year's. And, oh, my God, what do you expect from that? That sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I got bigger fish to fry than high school kids. I got like the Philadelphia 76ers acting like they're the best team in the history of basketball. But whatever. Who cares? Who cares?
Well, of course, who cares? We care. The kids care. You
Well,
should care.
yeah, I know. But
Did you care when you played and got your ass kicked?
Not really.
How about golf?
That's more individual. Yeah, when I got killed myself, sure, but no.
But
When
your
we
team
lost
made
as a
the
team.
tournament. Did you enjoy playing in the tournament?
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah, I sucked in the back nine, but that was good.
No, it was actually the front nine.
Well, yeah, it was
You
my
played the back nine
nine.
first.
Hey, Black Swan, you ever been there? The front nine's really tough there. Back nine's easy as can be.
And you what, shoot 88?
Yeah, I got stuck in a bunker. Ugh.
Yeah, you did play. There were like 3 or 4 holes there. You were just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, you want to trash on me? I didn't even play varsity basketball, so good. They're better than me, but like, come on.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you lost the game. You probably shouldn't be posting on Instagram about how you really proved the local personality.
I
well.
don't think that was posted by the team.
I understand.
That was posted by this TV station here. That's all.
Yeah.
That wasn't the team.
My own people are doing it to
Our
me.
peeps, but they want to get the shout out because It's All Boils Down to This is getting very popular, so it's different.
Yeah, we went from like an average of 50 listeners. We got it to like 70 now. It's blowing up.
Yeah, it is. It's blowing up. Core Discord has let us in. Libertine. So
Yeah, that's probably giving us another listener or two.
1 or 2, right, on the home front.
Bobby and David.
Yes, yeah. God bless David. Anything else? I'm trying to think if I missed something today, but it's going to start to get really hectic.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the debacle last night. But
God!
Why
do I stay up till midnight and watch that?
Well, the good thing about last night is it exposed the people who don't watch the games. There were people last night who were mad at the coach. There are people. Bill Simmons. He cannot have an objective. He cannot be objective about this team. Like you know what his take's going to be. Oh, bad loss. Blame the coach. Bad loss. What's he doing with his timeouts? His timeouts. They had great. It was one of the nights where Missoula was actually calling timeouts at the right time.
I thought he did a good job calling timeouts. I don't.
You don't call timeout at the end of the game. You let it go. You let it go.
Yeah, but
you don't let the team set up their defense. You don't let all that.
So you give the ball to Tatum, let him do the Paul Pierce clock toilet
That's
offense?
my issue with Bill Simmons. He's talking about the coach. The Celtics lost that game last night because their best player played. I won't say the worst. He played like he played in the finals. He played horrible. And it wasn't like it was the worst shot selection game I've ever seen. There's 8 players in the NBA who take more than five or more pull-up threes per game. 7 of them shoot 35% or more on them. 1 of them shoots under 30%. I think you know who that is. Just go to the hoop, dude. Good things happen. Also, Jaylen Brown and Tatum, I thought Jaylen Brown actually did play well. Jaylen Brown's not their fourth quarter guy. He's not their closer. He's their first and third quarter guy. Jaylen Brown and Tatum combined for 1 field goal in the fourth quarter and overtime last night.
And that's not
1
good.
field goal. And you got Bill Simmons tweeting about calling timeouts. Your 2 All-NBA players had 1 field goal in the fourth quarter and overtime. And you're talking about the coach calling timeouts? Bill Simmons, come on.
I think the coach called timeout 14 seconds to play, set up a game winning. It was a tie ball game. You know, I let them set their defense on. I just disagree with the fact that I agree that Tatum was horrible. But Tatum just dribbling around and hawking up a bad 3. What the
every
heck is
time.
that?
And they set a franchise record for missed threes.
That's coaching. That he took a bad shot because he was allowed to take a bad shot. You know, Derek White had a great game.
It's not coaching. You can't coach that out of Tatum. There's
no
coaching that out of. You can't coach a superstar player out of that.
You run a play for him.
You
run a play for him.
I guess. Okay, but you can't tell me they weren't running a play there.
I'm telling you right now. He got the ball. He dribbled across half court. He fiddled and diddled for like 10 seconds. 3 seconds left on the clock. He's got a tough 3 to take. No ball movement. No movement anywhere. No high ball screens, low ball screens. Nothing. And he just hucks up the shot. And because they knew they could go to overtime, then they go to overtime and they stink and they lose.
Well, the one spin zone is when the threes aren't falling. Like that's why you trade for a guy like Porzingis, who they didn't have last night, who can go get you a bucket inside. But how am I supposed to know that Tatum's not going to huck up a 3 and not get instead of giving the ball to Porzingis when they need a basket? Who knows if that would have made a difference last night? You still got to get him the ball. I don't know. It was a disgrace of a loss. That game was over. It was over.
Well, they've had those 2 losses now. Charlotte and Golden State, I think, were bad.
Well, Charlotte's just,
that was
Charlotte's
a horrible loss.
Golden State's at least, I know Golden State has a bad
Didn't the wife
record.
beater beat them on that one?
Yeah, he can't even get into Canada. He hits the game winner on freaking us. They don't let him into the country of Canada. He's banned from Canada. He hits game winners on the Celtics. Yeah, and Curry's doing his little night. Dude, you're 11-14. You got 4 titles, I get it. But
at some point,
it just
those
sucks
losses,
losing to them. Ugh.
Again, those losses help.
No, they don't.
They help. You
No,
know where you suck. You
Yeah,
can
but
look where you
it
suck.
was
Watch
great. We beat the
film of that
Magic
game.
twice, and we need to get over the hump against the Magic. You know what? I would have rather lost twice to the Magic and beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all. Warriors.
First game of 5-game road trip West Coast.
Look, when we play these teams, for some reason, it's these teams: Warriors, Bucks, Sixers, and the Lakers. When you play those 4 teams, you better win. That's it. That's how I feel.
How about Minnesota, who beat
one
them?
more? One more. The Heat. Those are the 5 teams. When you play those 5 teams, you better win, and you better give it all. I don't care. You better
agree
win.
with that.
Those are the teams I want to beat.
I agree with
Those
you.
are the teams I want to beat.
I agree with you.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's the Celtics.
Oh, it was so frustrating last night.
That's the Celtics and the NBA. I could hear you last night after midnight. I went to bed. He was not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. But again, it's going to happen. It's a long
You're not going to go
season.
82-0, but it's the way they lost that game.
It's a law. Yeah, the game
Then
they
again,
had
no matter
in hand,
what,
and
it's
all of
like-
a sudden they don't play defense on the 3 ball, and everybody's like Klay Thompson had like 4 open threes. All he has to do is hit 2 of them. That's ball game.
The Celtics did it. Was it in overtime or in regulation? They had that possession where they missed like 3 wide open threes and a layup in the same
That was
possession.
overtime, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Some of the stuff they were missing last night. Franchise record missed threes, missed a bunch of layups. Yeah, you know what happens? And the Celtics are so talented right now that every single loss that they have this year is going to get scrutinized and overanalyzed like this, and it's going to be like, oh my God, they can't win. The sky's falling. They're going to end up going like they're going to end up being like 65-17, and all 17 losses will be like, oh my God, what the hell happened here? Just, you know what, win tonight at the back-to-back. Go beat the Lakers on Christmas. You know what?
Right.
I think it's a
you're right
West
on
Coast
that.
trip. It's
I
tough.
think-
They
right.
sucked on the
Tough
West
trip.
Coast last year.
Yes.
Sucked. So
Yes, it
that's
is.
why you want to see some improvement. But
Tough.
we'll see.
It's very.
They're still 14-0 at home. As long as that
That's true.
keeps up, you know, they're going.
And again, the regular season they play those games. These are slog games. You're right about the West Coast trip, and you're absolutely right. End the season with 17 losses. Every loss we bitch about because there's only 17 of them. We could be the Detroit Pistons, who've lost 23 straight games. Right?
No, we could.
Or
but,
Wembyama's San Antonio Spurs, who are losing. Until
hey, they beat the Lakers.
They did. So that's good NBA talk. Almost end the show. Like I said, Christmas coming up next week. We'll have a generic show. Got Amanda and my father, Mr. Boyle, pop up to them. My dad coming in with probably tomorrow. That'll be an evergreen show. We'll listen to you. Hopefully get that out sometime next week. And then Jack and I'll be back after the new year to continue to argue and learn.
What the hell are
and see
you,
what
Amanda,
happens.
and Pop-Up going to talk about?
Evergreen. We're talking Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he has a lot to
Evergreen.
talk
He
about.
knows. He lives right there where she grew up.
Again, he could be her neighbor, and he wouldn't be able to talk about Taylor Swift.
I couldn't be able to talk about Taylor Swift either. So I don't know. Well, there's a lot because actually for Amanda, it's actually pretty easy. You know, you can say to yourself, you know, what's it like living with us at home?
Okay.
Think about it, like your mom says, what they do on the air is that's what's happening at our house. You know, this is nothing unusual.
Yeah,
What we're doing here. So it's at the house. Any final words for as we end 2023, which was actually not a great year for Boston sports either. Any final words? 2023?
No, just like we said, shout out for great moments this week, Ben Verlander and Rashad Mendenhall.
Right.
So, those are my guys.
And shout out to our guests this year, Jay Trev.
Oh, Jay Trev and the Fourth
Trev.
Amendment as well, yes.
And Jay Trev. Kevin, and whose last name shall not be named. And Coach Greco, Chris Greco, who was feeding us some information on last night.
We should get Jay Trev a gun for Christmas.
No, we shouldn't do that. no, enough. And on that
How about
note,
Tommy T? Get Tommy T a gun.
And on that note, we'll close the book here on episode 19 of It All Boils Down to This. For Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.